Now, Christian, by way of introduction, what's the medical definition for piles? What exactly are they?
Well, if you like, put simply, piles are varicose veins in your bottom. They're swollen and distended veins that line the opening of your bottom, and these can occur high up inside your bottom, which are called internal piles. And if they happen to come through the opening where you can feel them, or even if the veins just distend nearer to the opening, then those are called external piles. But essentially that's all they are.
Right, so veins in your bottom that are not doing quite what they should do, maybe?
No, and you know, it's usually a fault of gravity actually, that they
Right.
gradually distend, or other causes which we can talk about later, but that's all it is, swollen veins.
So you do sometimes get bleeding from your bottom when you've got piles?
Well, actually, one thing we should talk about, which we haven't done, is the symptoms of piles, and you've really nicely covered it. And they are itching, a little bit of bleeding, not heavy bleeding, but usually spotting or a bit of bleeding when you wipe.
Right.
Frank pain, they can be pretty unpleasant and painful.
And what sort of pain? Sort of a sharp pain down there?
You want to describe?
Difficult to describe it. No, I wouldn't say it's a sharp pain. It's a very uncomfortable pain.
Right.
It's sore. I think sore. Sore
Yes,
is
that's
the
what you
word.
suffered from.
Yes,
And you said you couldn't sit down, which is quite debilitating.
oh, it was
actually.
awful when it was really bad. I actually couldn't sit down, and at work it was, I was sitting on a cushion, and
Yeah.
I always have a cushion
It's a bit of a
behind
giveaway,
me.
isn't it?
That's
But
right. But when nobody was looking, I sort of like shifted it down to the bottom,
Yes.
and I sat on the cushion just for comfort.
So it has a big impact on your day-to-day life then,
It
really,
did.
doesn't
When it was really bad like that, it did. But
Yeah.
I certainly didn't phone in sick. I just carried on the best way I could, and that was it. And I didn't go to the toilet at work anyway. And this cream that they gave me was only to use twice a day, and that was morning and evening, or after bowel movements. But bowel movement didn't happen. That was the problem with me. I think had it have happened, I would have been okay, and I wouldn't have got myself into this pickle.
Yeah. But people do ignore the symptoms, obviously, don't they? But don't ignore them. Is that the because it sounds like it's easy to treat.
As you've heard, I mean, there are plenty of good, effective treatments available. They work early on if you catch them early
That's
on.
it.
How long did yours take to go?
4 or 5 days.
You know, that's
gone.
not really long. That's the amount
Not
most
long.
people have a cold for or
Yes.
something. So it doesn't need to be
And
a
I
big deal.
felt relief, though I could still feel them. I actually felt relief within maybe 48 hours.
Yes.
That soreness had gone.
Christian, is it just pregnant women and the elderly who suffer from them? That's quite a big group though, isn't it? Pregnant women and the elderly. We're all going to be old at one
It's a
some
huge
stage
group,
or
and
another.
50% of us suffer
Yes.
from them. That's an awful lot of people, and yet we don't like talking about it, do we? So anybody can get piles, actually, anyone. And men, women, younger people, older people, there certainly are more common groups that get them, but absolutely it can affect anyone.
Elaine, thanks so much for coming. And I know it's a little bit embarrassing talking about your bum, but how did you realise that you had this condition, and what was your initial response to it?
Well, I didn't know what I had. All I know is I had this itching, and I felt this lump in my bottom. And I ignored it, but it actually got worse and worse, and it became very uncomfortable.
Hi there. I just wanted to give you guys a big thanks for giving my dad relief from his long-standing hemorrhoids once and for all. Hemorrhoids are something that are very annoying and make you very uncomfortable. My dad suffered so much, he even kind of started to lose his appetite, knowing that after he enjoyed his meal, the pain would be coming back and just not worth it, he said. I just felt so sorry for him. It's really hard to see your dad suffer. He tried a bunch of creams and prescriptions, sometimes found some temporary relief, but the hemorrhoids always came back eventually. He started to refuse to leave the house, just even taking family trips with us and whatnot. He finally asked for help. I was kind of surprised. So since I'm a big online researcher and a firm believer in holistic solutions, when I found your 5-step program to prevent and permanently cure hemorrhoids, I wanted to believe that it was possible. But I found myself a little bit skeptical. When I found out this program had helped thousands of men and women around the world, I thought I could give it a try. Now, the intense research is really what convinced me to download the guide in the first place. I shared the program with my dad, knowing he's a little bit skeptical too and not really sold on holistic remedies. I knew he wouldn't just jump in right away, but I was pleasantly surprised when he was willing to give it a good, honest try. I guess he was totally frustrated with our past efforts. I feel kind of guilty, but I got over it and I just wanted to see him happy and out and about more, so we both agreed to go on the program and take it seriously. Now, I'm extremely happy to say that my dad is out of the gate 45 days now with a great response. After trying it all and getting little to no relief, my dad has finally seen remarkable reduction in his pain and suffering and overall symptoms. We're both so grateful for this program, so thank you so much for giving my dad a second chance at a whole new confidence to wander out into the world again. There are no words to say when you see a loved one get back on his or her feet and just look motivated again. All I can say is thank you, thank you, thank you 1,000,000 times over.
Take a few minutes and check out the link in the description. This may be exactly what you're looking for.